So then, you want to see my review of the new Limited for Min list? Alright. Okay, so now, before you guys start, like, ripping on me, I have a haircut booked in, like, 18 hours. So, it's going, don't worry, even I think it's too much. Just, I've been real busy. But either way, main attraction, let's get into it. Upper Clyfor Towers. Can we just let that sink in? We're on the banned section, by the way. Everything that's currently now forbidden. Upper Clyfor Towers. Can I get a hallelujah? Next up, Shurit, Strategist of the Nekros. Again, a card that I'm pretty happy to see go. Admittedly, Trish could have just gone instead. I'm happy with the deck as it plays in ARG because it doesn't Trish me. Or at least as it used to play in ARG format. I don't even follow ARG format at the moment. Admittedly, a part of me is kind of sad to see the blue deck go. I mean, I did play it very recently, but at the same time, I'm so happy it's gone. Because, I mean, God knows, that deck was insane. Just Trishula, advantage, I don't lose because I play Valk everywhere, all day, every day. And there were so many different variants. Oh, I'm just so glad the deck is gone. So glad Nekros is gone. I admit, it did require a skilled hand I didn't have. But goodness gracious, I'm so glad it's gone. So, moving through the list, we're going to hit the part that you guys know is going to be the most painful for me. Yep. Exciton. No. Construct is gone. Shaddoll Construct, the card that I have stuck true to for the better part of a year. Wiped off of the face of Yu-Gi-Oh! As we know it, moving into the 2016 format. Can't say we didn't see it coming, really, did we? Card was ridiculous, but it's still sad to see Shaddolls finally get the nail in the coffin that they honestly deserved. So, sorry, big girl, you gotta go. Then moving into the aforementioned Evilswarm Exciton Knight, just a card that honestly I questioned when I saw it go. I don't feel like it needed to go. I feel like the card was good. I feel like it does cause some huge advantage shifts, and I felt like it saw a fair bit of abuse in Nekros. But honestly, I don't think the card was inherently unhealthy for the game. Same way as Black Rose, I don't think the card is unhealthy. And I think there are plenty of ways of stopping and playing around the card. But Konami wanted to ban it. All right. You can do that. You're Konami. You can write the rules. I'll play your game. I'm still going to keep playing your game. Still going to keep buying your cards. Something wrong with me. Moving on to the things that went to Uno, we have, starting off the list, Clyfor Scout. Now, I feel with Towers getting the silent treatment, getting removed from the game, I feel like Clyfor wouldn't really require much more of a hit. I'm pretty happy with Clyfor as it is, as a normal deck, as a control deck, but I'm unhappy with it as a Towers Turbo deck. Now, with Towers gone, I feel like Clyfor can just be its own thing. It can be its own unique deck, just like it has always been. But now they put Scout to 1. Okay, if you want to hurt the deck even more, that's cool. It seems like the whole way through this list, they just went, you know, everything that's dominated the last year, gone, out the door, leave. You've had your year, get out of my game. So, I mean, if that was Konami's objective in creating this list, then they did a damn good job. There's another deck dead. That's Nekros, Clyfor, and Shaddoll. I don't like to remember it, you see. Nekros, Clyfor, and Shaddoll removed from kind of relative tier 1 easy playability. I mean, there's going to be reincarnations of all the decks. I'm not going to say they're all unplayable, but they're definitely hugely hurt. And anyone who argues with that is sorely mistaken. Moving through with the trend of everything that was ever printed in Duelist Alliance and next challengers getting removed from the game, Graf went to 1. Graf, Malabranch of the Burning Abyss, a card that also was quite dear to my heart when the deck came out, is gone. Not gone completely. The card's gone to 1, but that is very, very hurtful. For that to go to 1 in a deck, which honestly I think is incapable of playing a game without seeing it turn 1, that's a big hit. I think Burning Abyss is still hugely relevant. I think it's going to see a lot of play in the next format. I think it's the one deck of the big four from last format that are going to survive. I mean, of course, Nekros, Clyfor, and Shaddoll are all going to drop off the face of the earth for a while, whereas I think the Burning Abyss is still going to have a fair showing. But things like Perform Mage, Pendulum, and Magispectors are just going to completely blow it out of the water. But it will be something that does see a little bit of play. Doubt we'll see it top, but it will see play nonetheless. And Fire Lake is still a hell of a card, so could give the Pendulum decks a run for their money. We'll soon find out. Next, moving on to Mathematician, a card which kind of hurt Perform Mage, Pendulum, a deck which I'm actually midway through building, and there's a test video coming out for it probably before this video even goes up. But Perform Mage Pendulum was a deck that I was looking forward to using Mathematician in, because it ditches this cool guy to the grave and gets his plush fire real easy, and then like this cool guy I'm pretty sure can no, not him. This cool guy can modulate his level and make him a 4 and make him a bit more valid, but you know, just some ideas. But it's kind of sad to see Mathematician to go to 1. I feel like the card is really, really good. However, I feel like it's really slow. I used to berate a lot of Shaddoll players that were playing it over the Gem Knight engine, because the Gem Knight engine was inherently faster, and I used to be all like, hey buddy, see you next turn, because the card would literally end your turn if you were playing Shaddolls. So sad to see it go. Don't think it was that ridiculous. I mean, it was an easy +1, but over 2 turns. So card's okay, but if they want to put it to 1, that's respectable. It helps a lot of the old decks from Duelist Alliance, so I can understand why it would go to 1. Next, continuing with the Nekros hate, Nekros of Brionac and Nekros of Unicorn both went to 1. Well, it's starting to look a lot like the OCG over here, isn't it, guys? Unicorn and Brionac going to 1 is hugely hurtful, and while the deck is still playable, I actually almost lost to a version of it on Dueling Network earlier on. It's just not as good as it used to be. Brionac, huge search card, huge thing about the whole consistency engine of the deck, which, by the way, was one of the deck's biggest draws. It's gone. And Unicorn, one of the deck's most powerful cards for dealing with everything that wasn't another Nekros deck, also to 1. Such an important resource, such an important card that is so easy to clear. I honestly don't feel that the deck is nearly as strong as it was, because it's not going to be able to routinely just throw that card onto the board for no cost whatsoever. So Unicorn and Brionac being gone, pretty happy with those hits. I feel like it really cripples the Nekros deck, and I can't really complain too much on that one. Ritual Beast Ulti Canahawk. Now, when the list was released, a lot of people questioned me on how I felt about this card and why Konami had even decided to put it to 1. I'm going to let you know right now. They didn't want to hurt the deck, but they wanted to put it in a position where if you had a response or an out to 1 Canahawk, they could never do it again. They get 1 chance to do their combo play, and if you have an out, that's them done. They can't just ambush their way back into another Canahawk play. That's why it's in there, and I'm pretty happy with that. Pretty happy with it going to 1. I feel like the deck can still do its usual Infernity loop, but it does it with a little bit less consistency, and does it, well, it does it with an equal amount of consistency, but it doesn't have as much recursion. If you stop it, you've stopped it for the whole duel. Congratulations, you're free of that loop. Moving through with the crippling of my love of this game, Shaddoll Fusion went to 1. Shaddoll Fusion, when it came out, for me, was an absolutely obscene card. It gave Shaddolls, a deck which I was already enjoying enough as is, a way to OTK even harder. Whereas before you had to set up your whole OTK and enter the battle phase and your opponent saw what was coming, other than the inevitable instant fusion, which probably caused the most saltiness I've ever encountered in this game in quite a while. When Shaddoll Fusion came out, the deck just became ridiculous. I played it with 0 testing at our regionals way back when the card, I'm pretty sure on the weekend of the release of the card, and it was just obscene. Just took games so damn quickly, and I'm going to sorely miss the card now that it's at 1. But the deck needed weakening. It really did, and that's definitely what Konami did. Then, in an attempt to weaken the Duelist Alliance playing field even further, Satella Knights took a hit. Reinforcement of the army went to 1, but also that had a knock-on effect for Heroes, also another meta-relevant deck from the past year, so I can understand that going, because it's hitting 2 birds with 1 stone there, and it also does slow down some of the stronger decks going into the next format, especially the ALS deck that I've been playing, so That's hurtful. Sadly, with Roto going to 1 and Mathematician going to 1, it does also hurt the new archetype, the Blackluster Soldier deck, as if that deck wasn't weak enough as it was. And I was actually planning on bringing you guys a deck profile of that. It's now gotten a hell of a lot weaker, so that Roto hit was kind of painful, but we can see why it went, because otherwise the Tellarknight would just be dominant, and no one wants that. Then, only one card on the list went to 2 this time, and that was Sear, Malebranche of the Dark... Malebranche of the Dark World? No, we're... That's a fair way back. Sear, Malebranche of the Burning Abyss. Sear is kind of, again, sad to see go to 1. Sear and Graph being the most advantage-generating cards in that deck. They generate advantage so damn quickly and help the deck push its OTKs. And I feel like this definitely suitably slows down the OTK potential of Burning Abyss and the push play potential of that deck. But I still think it leaves the deck playable and definitely still a strong contender in the tier 1.5 to tier 2 bracket. So, again, Sear going to 2, I can understand that. I feel like all of the decks from Duelist Alliance, except maybe Tellarknight, have been left on an even playing field of crippledness, whereas Tellarknight has been left possibly the best of the 4. If I kind of refer to like Tellarknight, if I kind of bundle Nekros and Clyfor in with that lot, Tellarknight is definitely the best of the 5, with Nekros, Shaddoll, Burning Abyss, and Clyfor all taking a severe hit, with Tellarknight not really taking much of a hit at all, except for a little bit of damage to their consistency engine. And then finally we move on to the Forgotten cards. I like to kind of refer to the 3 ofs as the Forgotten cards because it's basically the cards that Konami feel aren't seeing any play at all and aren't going to impact the game, so you may as well have them back at 3 if you want to play them for fun. So those cards included Chaos Sorcerer, a card I'm pretty happy to see go back to 3, but I don't have a suitable Chaos engine to play it in at the moment, but rest assured, as soon as I find a deck that can float the card quite well and consistently, the card's going to be coming back. We then saw Legendary 6 Samurai Shien, a card very close to my competitive roots. That card's finally gone back to 3. As far as I'm aware, I mean, aside from Rota going back to 1, which was what it was at when I played the deck anyway, the deck is at the same level of strength as it was back when it came out, except for not having Gateway. So I'm pretty interested to see how the deck does. I don't think it's going to be remotely good because 25 is just not big enough anymore. Shien back in the day was huge because a lot of the big synchros were a lot smaller than him, and Go-Yo Guardian wasn't a thing, because that card got banned. So I don't really feel like Shien is going to be a threat moving forwards. We then saw Spellbook of Fate go to 3. Something I didn't actually see coming. I expected Spellbooks to stay hit for quite some time, but hey, if Fate's going to go to 3, okay, I'll give Spellbooks a deck profile. Don't know if I'll play it because the newer decks are really, really good, but Spellbooks, multiple Fate, they can Fate in both turns now. Cool to see. And then lastly, a card I know that a lot of players from last year will be happy about, Gear, has gone back to 3. Gear is now exactly the deck it was back when it was a meta deck in the first place. However, the problem was, back then, deck was a solid tier 1 competitor. Now, there's so many ridiculously fast decks, and the game has just power creeped so much that I honestly don't think Gear is going to be remotely the deck we think it's going to be. A lot of people are hyping the deck, but people have to remember that Cyber Dragon is now running rampant in the format and rampant in the side decks because of the presence of Cosmos. So how honestly strong do you feel that your triple Gaigan board is going to be? I don't think it's going to be very good at all. So I'm going to deck profile it. I'm definitely going to test it, but I wouldn't recommend playing Gear for any major event until Cosmo dies down. So yeah, guys, this has been the review of the Limited and Forbidden list you guys have all been requesting. I hope you've all enjoyed. As per usual, feel free to leave the video a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you want to see more of the same of all of this. Comment down below if you've got any feedback or anything you want to tell me about the Limited and Forbidden list. And share this with your friends if you think they'd be interested. Otherwise, actually, let's open up a wee dialogue. If you tell me in the comment section down below what things about this list you would change. Let me know one thing you don't want to see on the list. It can be old, it can be new, so one card you don't want to see on the list or you want to go up in a certain number, and one card that you wanted to see go on this list, but it didn't. Let me know down in the comment section below. Otherwise, I've been Jamie the Kid 00, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out. Bye-bye.